All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Don't know what we're getting accomplished in this episode. We're just gonna call it I don't know. As you tell, foundation up to there has been painted. I had to go along that window, and that one was, there's one under there. That one was really, really bad. And I tried to clean up underneath there a little bit, but they needed a lot of caulking next to the window. It's like somebody just straight up didn't do it. So under here, this one of course is going to take a little bit of time. The kiddie pool staying, but everything else is going. I'm going to have to get all those vines off the house, and we're going to try to rake some of this up. As you can tell, these timbers have been eaten alive by, I call them fire ants, but it's that little guy right there. They're just tearing the hell out of this. So this whole thing's getting burnt. I don't know how much more of this I'm pulling out, but I at least wanted to show you this part. I have like a little less than a gallon, probably like a quarter. I'm probably not going to get to do a second coat, but this paint covers really, really well. So I'm hoping I can make it to the end of the foundation, but we're going to get some of this trash and stuff cleaned up. This has also got to get replaced whenever we do a new deck. But that is a project for another day. Those are carpenter bees. I was told carpenter bees didn't like stuff that was painted or stained. That is fake news. All right, all of it is done finally, including over there. I raked out everything, getting rid of the landscaping timbers. Eventually, whenever I redo the deck, I would like to, instead of lattice on the inside, I would like to do vertical slats and probably paint them black with like that much of a gap or somewhere like that. But for now, this is what we're doing, because this whole thing's got to get replaced. These posts and the actual bottom part of the deck's not bad. Even underneath isn't rotten. It's just super ugly, and the railings are really bad shape. But anyway, we'll see what else gets done in this video. I'd like to eventually get all these bricks and put them somewhere, but for now, that's all we're doing today because I'm beat. All right, video update. We are painting. So I sanded everything. These walls were really, really bad. There's a couple spots right there, and stuff like that right there. These I'm not worried about because that's actually the hole where the railing was mounted to. I pulled the whole thing off. We are going to be sanding that later, but I edged around the shiplap. Same thing up here. You can see it better on this side, but I can't wait to get rid of this pink color, and then I'm gonna have to clean all this because it's wrecked. So everything's wrecked. I just got a few more spots. Like I could actually probably, it's a little damp still, but yeah, we're just about ready to finish painting this. I touched a little bit of the green on, would be this wall, and yeah, so I'm gonna have to edge that back in, but that's a problem for another day. All right, well, we got most of this painted. Turned out a lot better than I was hoping for. Hate drywall work. The only problem is pretty much from there to there, I'm not gonna be able to get on either wall. I have to wait for a little giant. I have one, but it's not tall enough. I got a little paint there. There's some drywall spackle. That's drywall spackle too. And I got to re-edge in the green. This all needs a second coat. But as you can tell, I haven't got this side taken care of. These really wide seams, they were the drywall tape. Actually, you can kind of see it there. So whoever did this house wasn't the best with drywall. I'm not saying I am either, but we had to fix that on both sides. Actually, this side was worse. Yeah, you can't see it from here. Multiple spots. Anyway, a lot cleaner. When I'm done, I'm gonna finish painting this, and then I'm gonna clean up this mess, and then I'm gonna replace that light switch, That's a 3-way or a 3-pole light switch because there's a light switch in the basement that also turns it on, and we'll throw a new cover on. And of course that thing is just delicious. But yeah, let me get this cleaned up. I hate this project. This is probably one of the worst ones in the house. I think if I could, I don't like paint to begin with, but if I could reach it, it wouldn't be a big deal. So there is a couple little imperfections that I'm probably gonna have to go back over. Like there's one I didn't notice till afterwards. Same thing with every other part of this house. It's not gonna be perfect. I'm gonna try to get it as close as I can. It's already worlds better than what it was. I gotta take a break for this to fully dry. Like I said, there's a couple spots. There was a screw that went in there, so the handle actually goes there. Of course, that's where the bracket goes. Where else was it? Oh, full transparency. Transparency. I forgot to fill those holes. Of course, this spot, I'm waiting for the mud to fully dry. There was somewhere else. One little tiny spot there. This is where one of the main seams ran across, but it is immensely better than what it was. Of course, I finally cleaned up. So some along the stairs, stuff like that, I'm not worried about because it is going to have a stair skirting. That is actually probably my next project. But I think in order to do that, I'm going to have to, it's going to kind of all be done at one time. So I want new stair treads, and we're going to glue something to the back of these. I think white beadboard probably, and then stain the stair treads the same color as I'm staining the handrail. But there's a few little imperfections I'm going to have to go back over. But overall, way better, way cleaner. It smells better too. And it's a lot brighter. So like I said, I was gonna touch this up today, but I can't do that. Here's a better view of that tape seam, but it's not perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. No house is perfect, but it is better and it's cleaner. So as you can tell, it's still real glossy from it not being dried, but when I come back, I'll sand that, slap a coat on there. That'll be the first thing I do. And then I guess edge back in again, and then I guess roll it on. I can't wait for at least the painting part to be done. It's really hard with how tall it is, and even with the little giant, I still can't get up there. So I tried my best there. This will come off. Anyway, let me wait for this to dry. I'm gonna go down to the in-laws and eat. You can kind of see a little bit of the seam right there, but you can't really see it in person. I think it's just more drying. But I'm gonna go eat at the in-laws, and I'll show you what this looks like all finished. I don't know if I'm gonna have time today for the light switch. That might be a tomorrow project. All right, guys, so this is the existing handrail. I threw away all the brass brackets that hold it all together. Lightly sanded it. You can tell super smooth down here. This is about where I quit. You can tell the color difference in it, and of course there's still drywall mud on it. I'm gonna wipe this down really, really good, and then I'm gonna use its Cabot, and I think it's called Cordovian leather. Not entirely sure. It's what I used on my other house, the patio that I did, and I had like 1.5 gallons left. So I actually really like that color, and it's, I don't want to say free because I paid for it, but it's free. So let me finish sanding this, and then I'll apply the first coat, wipe it off, and I don't know how dark we're gonna go with this, but I'm excited because I'm so tired of this. Tomorrow, all this garage is getting cleaned up, but that's not for today. So this is the second coat with everything. It's not completely perfect. There's still a couple flaws, like right there, but some of it I'm not real worried about, like I said, because we're putting the skirting up, but it's 100% better than what it was. I don't know. I'm kind of going back and forth if I need one more final coat, and I think I'm going to do it anyway just because. But I mean, it looks nice and uniform. Like I said, there's a little bit of imperfections in it, but Way better. All right, getting closer to finishing this video up. Edged in last night, so all the green is good. I still haven't got at the top. I need, one of my buddies is getting me a ladder. Did replace the switch. That one doesn't squeak anymore. Doesn't almost feel like home. We got black brackets to replace the railing. They have been replaced. And I'm going to do one more coat. I'll show you what actually probably 2 more coats of poly, and then it can actually go on. So let me show you what it looks like. Also, before I do that, stair skirting is the very next thing that we're going to do. I've never done anything kind of like that. I've seen a couple different ways of doing it. I've seen people putting the board up, and you can kind of use a level or a square, I meant, to figure out the angles of each step, because you know, nothing's ever gonna be perfect. We are doing new risers. We're also doing new treads. But before I do any of that, any of this lip here that hangs out underneath is going to have to be chopped off. So probably jigsaw, I don't know, maybe circular saw, see how good I am with it. It doesn't matter. I'm not worried about nicking the current risers because they're going to be covered up. We're going to do, I thought about doing beadboard, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I think we're going to do just standard, was it MDF? Like it's retro tread risers. And then they're just going to be white. I'm going to do the skirting. It's also going to be white. And then the treads, they're also the retro treads. They're going to be the same color as the handrail. I got 2 more coats of polyurethane. We're using water-based. I didn't want anything yellow. I know for steps they say not to use water-based, but I plan on getting little carpeted areas, so really the majority of the steps are probably not going to be seen. Most people are going to walk straight up the middle, and I've got to get rid of this. So let me show you what the railing looks like. All right, so this is the color. It's called Jocko Bean. And some of this railing was kind of in rough shape. I think it just adds a little texture. I was not replacing this for what I was going to do with it. I'm going to sand this down though. And one last time. Well, actually 2 more times. But I'm going to sand this down now, wipe it down, and then I've been sanding down. I know they recommend like 180. I've been scuffing it with like 220. That is really dull, so it's not even 220. Clean all the dust off. We're going to polyurethane it again. It's really humid, so it's going to go back in the basement. I got rained on. I was cutting grass, but we're going to do another coat on this, and then I'm probably going to do one more following that. She picked this. So semi-gloss, so it's not like a gym floor. I actually don't mind the sheen of it, but anyway, the next time you see this is when I'm putting it up, so stay tuned. All right, I forgot to record the first part of this. So these are 2x10 this was a 2x10 by 12 that I cut into a 5-foot section. That was what the other shelves in the laundry room were. Of course, I cut the factory end off because it's not square, and then I cut a 5-foot section. I sanded it with 80, 150, 220. It's not perfect. I should have sanded just a little bit more, but I really like the look of this, so I've got to let this dry, and then we're going to polyurethane this. The goal in the laundry room, once we I have vacation coming up next week. Once I get all the wallpaper removed and the drywall fixed and it painted, I'm going to put these shelves up with the cast iron pipe brackets that are underneath. So this is roughly the same size as what was there, which I like that space. We're gonna have cabinets for storage and stuff, but I'm trying to get the laundry room and the stairs done together. Done at the same time because I have to do the flooring. There's pieces of both rooms that I kind of have to do together. So I'm also going to do stair skirting. Child, you're crazy. I'm going to do stair skirting eventually this week too, but I'll show you at least. I wanted to show you what this looks like. That's the Jocko Bean stain. I let it sit on there for about 7 minutes. In case you're wondering, that was the banding strap. I really like the look of this, minus that little strap mark there, but there's a little bit of a chip there, which you really can't tell, but other than that, looks really good. So tomorrow I will polyurethane it, and then I'm gonna cut the other one. Sorry about this, I broke my camera protector. So I have a vacation coming up in a week. We're gonna see what we can get done. This is not all going to be finished by next Thursday. I am going to post this coming Thursday. Obviously, steps are not done. Also noticed that you can't tell in the video, but from that bracket to that bracket, there's actually a slight slope. So I have to unhook that, move it up, and then fix it. I'm going to try to work on the skirting this week. And I started pulling the shelves down. As you can tell from the other, I'm running a washing machine cleaner. As you can tell from the other video, I was starting to work on the brackets, or the shelves for this. Obviously all the wallpaper has to come off. Those two are going. We're gonna paint all this. Eventually, that is gonna go. I can't wait to get rid of the hanging bar that's held up by phone cord. I didn't do that. We are gonna have to work or build like a false wall around this because I'm not looking at this. But on my vacation, we're gonna see what all I can get done, as much of this as I can get painted. I'm probably not gonna be able to do in that corner until that's gone. So in case you're wondering why I haven't finished out there, before I started in here, these two rooms, this is my logic, doesn't have to make sense to anybody but me. This is my logic, that these two rooms are kind of connected. I know they're separate spaces, but here's my thinking. That door has to get replaced, this door has to get replaced. And the flooring is going to be done in here, throughout here. And I can't finish the bottom of the wall until the flooring's done. And I can't really do the stair skirting until the doors are in place. That way I know how much of the skirting to cut so I can put the trim up. So I realize that this is kind of jumping around. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. Beans. But another one of my projects for this room is the washer, can't really see it. The drain tube is outside of the wall. That is not gonna work for me. So I don't know how much of this drywall I'm gonna have to actually pull out. I don't know how bad this drywall is. The toilet still needs replaced. So there's a pile of work in this room. And I've been wanting to do this room for a while because for me, this is one of the grosser rooms of the house. Like, unfortunately, all the insulation's coming down. We are doing rock wool and I'm doing a drop ceiling in here. And we're gonna get rid of these temporary lights that 30 years later are not that temporary. It's all not gonna get done in this video though. So I'm gonna do as much as I can on my vacation. That way I can get it painted, I can get it prepped, and then I might do the installation on vacation. We'll see how time goes. That way I can get the drop ceiling done, and then we can kind of work on other stuff. Like, that's why I'm working on the shelves. That's a small thing. It was a $20 project. I already had the stain, I already had the polyurethane. It was a $22 board. It just takes my time, and that's it. I'd like to get a better mirror for down here. I'm not doing anything with the shower. The shower has a bunch of stuff in it. It's a cat box, I'm not gonna show you that. The shower has a bunch of stuff stored in it, like there's paint left from the previous owner. I'm getting rid of all that. But the point of this is just to clean this room up, and then we're gonna finish cleaning up out here. I'm not crazy about sheet linoleum, but we're gonna lay one full sheet from here to here because I do feel like these two rooms exist together. And that screen protector, I ordered one. This wall is going to get the same treatment that wall is. I measured, so 2 sheets of foam board, and yeah, I guess 13 shiplap boards, but it'll insulate it better, it'll look better. I'm just trying to get this cleaned up because it's gross. So projects never ending in this house. And I'd like to see why she has a towel and an old sweatshirt shoved up there. but we're gonna fix that. I'm going to re-insulate along all the rim joists with foam board, rock wool. Rock wool's going up through here, drop ceiling. So it should look nice when it's done. But as you can tell when they put the wallpaper on, it's not super terrible to finish, but it's definitely gonna need work. So see what we can get done. But for tonight, I'm gonna work on a little bit more of the shelves, because all that crap needs to go somewhere. And eventually we're gonna have cabinets at the top and the bottom, but again, you can't do those until I know how low the ceiling's gonna go. So stay tuned. Like I said, this won't be a complete video, but Thursday I will show you what we get done. All right, we're gonna work on pulling as much of this. Obviously I have laundry going. I did buy a new screen protector. I'm gonna try to get as much of this off as I can today, but maybe behind there, and of course the water heater, but I started throwing a bunch of stuff away. So let's see how hard this is to get off. So working on peeling the rest of the wallpaper off here. Back there, there's a little bit more. That corner I knew was messed up, but I don't know if it's just not screwed into the corner. Once the water heater gets moved, sorry again about the blur, I'm probably gonna have to patch some of this, probably pulled out. So I'm gonna probably go to about there of each side, and I'm gonna paint everything that I can minus that, and even if I have to fix it later on, whatever. But we're getting there. Pretty much up to here. Once I do this, then I can start working around. I didn't realize the corners, it didn't have quarter beads around the shower. It just, I don't know how far I'm getting today, but it does look better. All right, so got pretty much all this wall done, minus, like I said, the spot there. I tried to get as much as I could. I got to do a little bit there, and we're gonna start working around the shower. And then eventually I'm gonna get to a point of where these two have to come out. I turned the light off because that crack's making the glare on this really bad, but as you can tell, I still got to do all this, and I don't even know if I'm gonna try to peel the drywall off. So this whole bottom sheet has to come off for two reasons. One, I want to put a washer outlet box in that has the drain. If you can tell, you can't really see it. The drain is outside of the wall. I want the drain inside of the wall, and then and I want it secured the correct way. So that is going to take a little bit of plumbing work, and so I'm not super worried about getting the bottom of this, but pretty much from the nozzles up, I am worried about. I'm gonna have to get them. So yeah, it is coming along. I thought I hated wallpaper before, but when it is on unpainted surfaces, it's even worse. Also should mention, in case you're wondering, any of the floor tiles that were partially loose or loose, just tore up. This whole floor is getting done. That's another reason why I want the hot water heater out of here, because once the walls are painted, even if I don't have a toilet, and even if I don't have a utility sink, because they're both getting thrown away, I'm able to, at least once it's painted, I can then put trim around like that section. I don't know if I'm going to do this wall, because this wall is probably getting cabinets, but at least can do it around the rest. So yeah, the walls have got to get done before I can do anything else, and the hot water heater is probably second on the list to get done. All right, so the only thing I've done today so far, I had cut grass this morning. We went ahead and removed the toilet. It's going to be getting a new shutoff valve, new hose. That is the drain going into the wall. The top one there is the drain for the utility sink, and the other one is the drain for the plumbing. This is why I wanted to pull the whole thing out. One, I guess, to me, it looks like they had a dryer leak at some point. It's just lint everywhere. But I'm going to completely cut at the seam. We're putting a washer outlet box in. That pipe is getting hit in the wall. I don't know why they didn't do it in the first place. It looks like maybe 2 studs you'd have to go through, maybe. But anyway, we're going to be doing that the correct way. And then I'm not worried about any of the wallpaper and stuff on the bottom because this whole sheet is coming out at the seam. Now, of course, again, camera protector's not here. Still got to take care of all that. I'm still going to have to sand that. That's a very rough first coat. And then go across and get the rest of this off. But it's getting less disgusting. This is one of the rooms I hated the absolute most because it's supposed to be a laundry room. This is supposed to be where all your clean clothes are. And this is the crap that was there. So I just never felt like this room was fully clean. That's why there's other things that I would rather do, but this is one of those things that have to get done. So anyway, we're going to continue. I'm going to unhook the dryer and then unhook the ductwork to that. We're going to move that out, and then I'm going to start cutting this. We're going to see what kind of deliciousness is behind the wall. All right, all done. So I've kind of got a plan for this. We'll talk about that in a minute. I'm probably going to have to cut directly below that coupler and get another, I guess that's a Y, and we're going to have to drill through that stud, and then I might have to move the pipe around depending on how the outlet box goes up there. Other than that, there's really no surprises. Minus that, it looks like when they were digging some of the line or whatever, there's dirt and gravel back there, which I got to clean up. There's also no corner blocking. So before this goes back up, I'm going to try to fight something, and I don't even know how that's going to work. Yeah, but other than that, it's really not that bad. I wish they would have. I'm probably going to have to move it up. I don't know where the seam is. They kind of rigged it underneath of the water thing, which is fine because I'm going to have to cut all that. And then around the outlet box is pretty atrocious too. So I don't know how this is going to work yet. But time being, we are going to pull all the nails out of this. And I'm going to go ahead and clean up all this crap on the floor. Take the trash can out. And then I'm going to sit here and try to figure out what to do about the pipe. I think that's what I'm going to do. I don't know what size that is. From what I understand, I think it's 3-inch because this looks like to me it's 2-inch. From what I read, it looks like dryers or washers only need a 2-inch pipe. So I don't know if it says it anywhere on there. No idea. Whatever. Anyway, I'm going to have to get a hole saw unless I have one for that. And then this is not a load bearing wall at all. This is I can actually show you the floor joist, and I can show you where the support beams are that are load bearing. This room was added afterwards, so I'm not worried about, even if I were to cut a 3-inch hole in there, you only get about a 1/2 inch on, well, a 1/4 inch on each side. This is not load bearing, and I'm not worried about it. But yeah, so all the plumbing looks okay. The only thing I might have to do is those 2 shutoffs are for the utility sink. They may have to get cut and moved up. I don't know that yet, but that is not a problem for today at least. So today, ideally, I got to go to Lowe's. We're getting a new hot water heater. I got to get probably 4 sheets of drywall because we're going to drywall underneath the basement steps. And then I guess I'm going to get some plumbing. Not real thrilled about this. I hate doing plumbing, but we're going to figure it out. So, all right, stay tuned for later, and I'm just going to get this mess cleaned up, and I really can't do anything else. Actually, I guess I could peel more wallpaper. The wife's not home, and we're not going to Lowe's yet, so I want this in the wall, and I want an outlet box. I know that seems minor, but this looks bad. I don't like it. It's not necessary, and it's half-assed to me. All right, so outlet box is hung. I would have liked to go a little bit higher, is what it is. I cut the wires off. It's the breaker's off. It's just in there. I, of course, hole sawed that one. I wish I could have did that one. But whenever I cut the pipe, this is what I had. I was actually going to get Simpson Strong Ties, make a thing that's called Beans. Get out of here. It's a stud shoe, and I went to Lowe's to see if they had one. You could actually use it for both of these. So basically, it's a metal brace to go around anything that has been cut or notched. So both of those obviously have been cut, and the one's notched. With that being said, I went ahead and removed some of the insulation. It was fighting me and I got tired of it. The box is pretty much going to sit there, which you're supposed to have it 42 to 48 inches off of the ground. It's right at 42, so I don't even have to cut the pipe. Again, nothing's glued in. This is just rough for right now. I just want to make sure everything fit. But I actually like the way I did it better. There is going to be one thing, you're probably not going to notice it. Once I glue this in, the drain pipe is slightly out from Beans. Go. I'm trying to go. Move. Get out of here. Which is not my fault. And it was kind of sketchy with cutting that floor piece. That's why I added a drain above there. So if anybody ever has to, when I say anybody, I mean me, get back in there, that coupler, above the coupler, there's at least that much that somebody can cut. And if we need to add pipe, because whatever idiot did that did not really leave a whole lot extra down there. So, of course, the top piece is a Y. That's for the drain sink, that is, or the utility sink. That's also a Y. That pipe is level across there. That's a P-trap going up there. I got to run to Ace because it's closer than Lowe's. I'm probably going to cut more drywall too. That's another story. Anyway, I'm going to cut these. I have 2 shark bites. I know a lot of people don't like that. I should sweat it on. I don't care. If you can also tell, you can see the gap that's into the basement. So the drywall on the other side is atrocious anyway. I was actually thinking of doing metal in there since it's kind of going to be like a utility room once I close the rest in. So if I ever need to access this for any reason, if it is leaking, I will be able to just remove whole sheet panels of it's roofing material, but they have different stamps that you can get that looks a little cooler, or maybe I'll do wood, who knows, but that's not today. So anyway, like I was saying, I got to run to Ace. We are going to cut both of these pieces, like right there, probably right there. This one's hot, this one's cold. These are full turns, these are quarter turns, which are a lot nicer. And then I'm just going to run the pecs into here. I just need 2 elbows. I have everything but the elbows. And then, yeah, it's, I got the water turned off right now. While I'm going to leave it off after I'm done with this. And then I'm going to replace all 3 of the shutoff valves, which I got new once the drywall's on there. Before I put the shutoff valves back on, I got white wall plates to go on there. And these things were gross anyway. So I don't know why anybody didn't do this in the first place, or I'll be honest, they should have studded this out with 2x6s. I know it's a little overkill, but it makes when running stuff in the wall a whole lot easier. I'm not a professional plumber. I'm not a professional electrician. I'm not telling you to do things the way I do it. I'm just telling you this is how I'm doing it. So we are going to give me about, I don't know, half hour. I want to run down there, get the stuff I need, and then honestly, once that's all glued in and the PEX is done, I'm going to start running drywall. This stretch of wall is more than 8 foot, so it's going to have 2 seams. I'm probably going to stop it probably here. I'll cut it right there, and then I'll have to cut another piece for the other side. But either way, hopefully by the end of today, all this is drywalled and my washer and dryer is back to working. I actually need a new switch because I bought the wrong one. It doesn't have a grounding, but neither did the other one, so I need to look at that. I don't know what I'm doing with that. All right, so got everything cut in for there. That's temporary because I think we're doing a recessed dryer vent, but for the time being, I wanted to make sure there was a little bit of a gap underneath the floor. This is water, I guess, mold resistant, but I still don't want to touch in the floor. So there's at least a pry bar underneath of it, but gonna have to tape everything up. Obviously I'm putting more screws on it, just enough to hold it, but I'm gonna have to fill in up there. I ended up punching a hole in the back side of the wall, which again, later on we're gonna do galvanized steel on that part of the garage, which I'll show you anyway, because the well pump is back there and the wood stove's also back there. My one cut right there isn't the best, but it doesn't really matter because that has a shield, so it'll be all covered, which I'll show you that part. So already way better. everything is done with the plumbing. Obviously, I don't have the plumbing for the sink yet, but again, not saying I'm the best, but it works and it's in the wall now. Like I said, the only issue that I'm gonna have down there where the Y goes to the drain, it sticks out just a little bit past the wall, so the wall might actually have kind of like a hump to it. So not a very big one. I can't even put my finger underneath it, but I put the level up to it, but it is going to be there, and I'm being transparent about everything. It's also going to be hid behind a utility sink, so no one's ever going to see it, but I know that it's there. So I obviously haven't had a chance to finish peeling wallpaper. I haven't got a chance to finish sanding that either and put a second coat on it, but we're getting there. Got the wall brackets, or the, yep, nail plates. Yep, that's what they're called. Nail plates up there. I'm gonna see if I can put one right there, but I mean, I kind of know where they are, so I'll just mark it. But yeah, we're making progress. I don't know how much more I'm gonna get done tonight. I'd like to get the whole thing done on the bottom, but we'll see. I'm smoked. Also, when we picked this up, this thing was hanging earlier. It ended up arcing. Thankfully, it didn't shock my father-in-law, but the reason was it was a 3-prong plug. Let's see if I can show you. And obviously the breaker's off. There's 4. There's a red, white, a black, and a ground. So I had to buy not only another cord for the back of the dryer, but another switch, which I'm gonna have to take that back. So this was my least favorite part of this project. I despise doing that. I'm so glad that it's done, but I hate it. So this one, I need to get cleaned up for tonight, but we're gonna get a couple more screws in this. I'm gonna have to put a line down through it because I'm terrible with doing straight lines. But yeah, other than that, we're closing in on this project being done. I don't know if I'm gonna do this one on video tonight. Today is Wednesday. I'm gonna get this video out. This video is pretty lengthy, so part 2 is probably going to be this room completely drywalled, completely sanded, and then hopefully painted. Like I said, that I actually have a new one in the garage. I don't have all the connections and the pipes for it, but that is going to be going into the basement stairs. So for now, I'm probably going to try to paint up to it, and it's just going to be, in part 2, it's going to be like that. There's other things though that I still kind of want to do in here, but this is most important because I wanted my washer and dryer back, and I can't handle this mess any longer. So this is first. That's still working for the time being, even though I look serial number up. It's from 95. It looks really good for 95. Anyway, I'm gonna finish with screws. And actually, you know what? I'm done with this video. This video is well past 30 minutes. So you guys watch up to this point, like, share, subscribe, stay tuned. I will do my best to get you another video out by Thursday. All right, everything is fully sanded. You can tell there's a little bit of wet stuff there. This is stuff, there's a little bit over there. This is stuff that I had to go over. By the way, this is part 2. I still need to post the original video of the bathroom. Everything's been sanded. It is so dark. There's only that bulb and that bulb. I have that light, but I'm doing the best that I can. So in case you're wondering, I haven't got to move the hot water heater yet, so I'm going to stop. You can tell there's a stud there because of the nail holes. I'm going to stop there and probably cut from here over to the wall, and then there's a stud right there. I'm also going to cut all that drywall out and put new drywall. This is getting moved to the other side of the wall. That lowest pipe there is going to be the lowest point, and then the drop ceiling is going to sit down below there. Anyway, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sweep up as much as I can again, and then I'm actually going to go ahead and prime these walls. I realize that I'm still going to make a mess, but I'll be honest, it is so dark down here that even with a light, I don't know that I'm gonna be able to see it. So at this point, I think the best thing to do, just go ahead and prime it, go ahead and paint it, and then there's a spot in the hallway that I have to fix anyway. So what I imagine is gonna happen is I'm probably gonna have to fix over the paint and then repaint some, if not all of it again. All right, so up to at least that is done. Actually, I got a little bit in there. I still got to do, and I got to edge in or there and along the shower. It's just primer. I got some up there on the vent and some up there on the insulation. The vents are staying, but the insulation's coming out. There's going to be a drop ceiling, so I'm not that concerned about this, but way better looking. And it's not smoker yellow anymore. So that's the last little bit right there, which is good because that's all the primer that I have. Tonight, I would like to get, I did have to touch up a little spot there. That's just the lighting, that's fully dry. I'd like to get, if possible, this entire back wall and that painted tonight. And then the washer and dryer hooked up, maybe peel some more of these tiles. If I can at least get that, but I did want to show you a couple things. Right there, which I could not see. There's a spot there. That's just paint. I need to roll that a little bit better. But I'm gonna have to sand a little bit there before I paint. That was a spot that I touched up and I must have missed. There's a little spot there. Again, this is minor stuff, but this is stuff that I couldn't see. There's another spot somewhere over there near the bottom. Yeah, right there. So, and right there. So full disclaimer, I'm not hiding anything. I'm gonna have to edge in behind there, but you just can't see anything. I knew as soon as I did that what was gonna happen. I knew that I was gonna have to go back over multiple spots. Now, stuff like that spot right up there, I'm not worried about it because the drop ceiling's gonna be below there. That's why I'm not overly worried about the paint job at the top, because drop ceiling's at least gonna be, I mean, it's at least gotta be below the pipe. So at minimum, I would say right there. So you're not gonna see any of that, but I would like to get any and all the stink out of this. So, but yeah, so making progress. Gonna clean all this crap up. Once this is all painted, I have the foam board. I don't have any of the shiplap for this, which I have to get. And then both of these will have to be painted. It's getting a new door. I've decided with that real quick. I'm going to build a little tiny shiplap wall around this, and then I want to have lower cabinets. I think I'm gonna have a pantry cabinet in the corner, and then smaller cabinets at the top, the backsplash in the middle, butcher block counter that matches the stain of the shelves. But I think I'm going to cut out, because I don't want to lose that. Obviously you need that, that's a clean out, but I'm tired of looking at it. So I'm gonna make a fake wall, wrap it in shiplap, paint it the same white as the other shiplap's gonna get, and then yeah, you'll still be able to access it if you need it. I don't really like the idea of a clean out being inside of a cabinet, but not a whole lot I can do. So anyway, I'm gonna finish painting this. I'm gonna avoid this area, but it already smells so much nicer down here. Can't wait to get a drop ceiling, get rid of these temporary lights.
Dad,
but
what are you doing?
I'm filming, buddy.
I go to here too?
Okay, you can hang out. Anyway, I'm gonna finish this up, get everything cleaned up, get the washer and dryer cleaned up. Okay, you can sit there. And then, yeah, hopefully, like I said, back wall, love a coat of paint on the back wall. All right, this color looks really, really yellow down here. So there was a spot that I touched up there after I finished primering everything. I got to edge in a little bit around the box, a little bit around that, and I got to paint that square. But other than that, I still don't know why that's showing like that. It's just the lighting, because it doesn't look like that in person. But anyway, obviously I still got to edge in around the corner, up top there. Got to edge in around the tub, but and a little bit back there. Other than that, everything and around that stupid phone box. That thing's going to be hitting the chase for that, so I'm not worried about it. Our next step, I just wanted to get this to the point of where we could reuse it again, but our next step is going to be putting that in the basement. Or underneath the steps, so I'm gonna have to drywall that space, and that's obviously not today. I had a week vacation from work that I spent doing this stuff, but that's gonna be the next goal. And I don't know how bad or what I'm gonna have to do. I had to add in that corner there a piece of 2x4 for the corner, so whoever did the drywall, I guess, didn't figure you needed to nail the corners, so I had to slide it all the way up through, which was fun, and then kind of angle it into the stud that's at the back of the shower. But it's good now. Corner looks good. I just need to brush it in, but I can't do up there for tonight. I can do the corners, but I can't do right along there. I forgot to sweep up there, so there's dust, which once this dries, I'll do it. And then honestly, even after this dries, I'll probably have to wipe everything down, and I'm gonna have to wipe down the stairs out there too. But one of the other projects we might do in here before, it's easy to do, is glue the paneling up. And by the way, that's all dryer lint there. I have cleaned it 100 times, and it's just kind of like stained in there. It's not mold. It looks like mold, but I assure you it's not. But it's like stuck in the block. So this whole room, that's why all this wallpaper and stuff came out, because it looked gross from the dryer lint. So I'm gonna wait to move both of these back until tomorrow, because I don't want to touch the wall. I have an old sheet of vinyl that I'm probably gonna just put down as a temporary thing, because some of these tiles are still sticky. But I need caps for all 4 of those things, and then that's it. Once we get the floor laid down, we can put the toilet back in, and then we put a utility sink in, and then from that point, probably work on the ceiling. I want to pull all this out, put foam board in between the rim joists, and then we're going to do rock wool everywhere, and then I'm going to do a drop ceiling, and we're going to get some real light in here, because I'm so tired of not being able to see. I looked at Menards. They have nice ceiling tiles, and then I guess actually I need to build the box too for around the pipe. Tired of looking at that. This room's going to get the same treatment as everything else. I don't know if I'm keeping that outlet. I considered keeping it in the cabinet down there, because this whole row is getting cabinets. But I also thought about branching off. I guess I need to see how it's wired, because that's going to go in a cabinet. But I would like to have at least one outlet, like somewhere in here. Depends on where the cabinets are. That way you can plug in stuff like irons or whatever else you want to do. So anyway, it's late at night. I want to get this finished, so I'm going to edge in, and then we'll see what the next part of this video is.